And welcome back to me channel, unless you're new here, and then just welcome. My name is Rusty. This is me channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal, and I'm doing this little block of spotlights, movies I wanted to make sure I shouted out and gave some love to. The first one was not on my top list. These other five were on my top list, so I took a second to talk about them, but I didn't give them their own individual spotlight, and that is what I wanted to do. And we are going to continue on. As I said, we are going to go play with the fishies for those last two, and we are going to start with Beast of War. So glad to have this. So, Beast of War. You know, all horror fans, real horror fans, we all have our subgenres. There's so many subgenres in horror: psychological, slashers, killer kids, vengeance based, battle royale based, horror comedies, horror dramas, supernatural. Did I say that? Supernatural, psychological, demons, possession. So there's all these different subgenres, and some of them can go even further. You have ocean horror, water-based horror. That can include sharks and stuff like that one I did recently with a giant octopus kind of kraken thing. Sea Fever, which I loved. You have sea monsters, all of that. So that's just like ocean horror in general, and then you can break it down into more. And of course there is a shark subgenre. Now, this movie is really special to me because it doesn't happen very often, right? Whatever your favorite subgenres are, you already have a list. You have a list in your head. Let's say the top 5 shark films since Jaws. You have that list, and you do that for pretty much every subgenre there is. If you had to be stopped and asked, what is your favorite possession films? What is your favorite killer kids films? You have the list. So if you're a longtime horror fan or film fan in general, but we're talking the horror community, if you're if you're a longtime horror fan, then you have these subgenres and you already have the list. So one of the most special things that can happen to you is when that one comes along. That one comes along that goes, oh my God, something just jumped into my top 5 or top 10, or however you want to feel it. When something comes along that unseats or that moves into your top 5, that means you had a damn good time and you had a lot of fun, and someone or a group of people, the writers, directors, actors, the crew, the effects people, somebody came along and gave you a very interesting and thrilling gift. Something so good that it jumped into your list. A list that you may have had for a decade. You've seen good movies come. You've seen bad movies come. You rate them. You rank them, and all of that. But you're always waiting for that one. Is something going to come along that's going to touch my top 5? Because that will be great, because it'll mean it's great. So this movie is very special to me because it did that very thing. I had my list of my top 5 shark movies since Jaws. The last one that broke that list would probably have been shark bait. I don't even know if you've seen it. But there is a shark film called Shark Bait. Just Shark Bait. Not Bait, which is the Australian one, which is also sitting up there. But I think that's the most recent one that came along. So whenever that movie was made, that was the one that went up there. Because I had so much fucking fun with Shark Bait, it's not even funny. When this one came along and I sat down and watched it, I was just mesmerized, you know. And I kind of felt like I would be, because I had read a little bit about it. And the thing that interested me most was hearing that it was all practical. And I'm like, really? No CGI sharks? Okay, I don't mind a good CGI shark, but practical? Okay. So when I went into it knowing that this was practical, it put an extra edge once I started seeing the action. So this has a large cast, as you would imagine, it being from an army troop or a military troop. But Beasts of War, the main characters are Will, who's the number one, Will and Leo and Des and Stan and Teddy and Thompson. There's even more. There's 3 or 4 more that are in the original Survivors group, but I didn't feel like looking them up. But this movie, the first 20 minutes of this movie is you getting to know these people. It's 1942. They are an Australian army group, and they are new recruits, and they are training. So we get to see 20 minutes of them train as we learn these individuals, which is good for character development. We learn them and their quirks and their smile and their attitudes, and we get a good look at them and stuff like that. And then they're sent off to go to a ship, to go on to active duty when the ship is bombed and sank by a Japanese fighter squadron. The few survivors, and there's probably like 10 or so, they don't have an official raft or anything, but there's a bunch of pieces of the boat, and they kind of, I don't know how big you would call it. It's not even really that big, you know. It's just a big piece of siding from the boat. They throw some supplies on it. It's probably about 20 paces by 20 paces. So it's not even really that big. It's more like a floating platform. And a couple of them are injured. One of them I know is injured badly. And the rest are pretty much okay with only little injuries. So you already know them. And now you get to know them even more because of the desperate situation that they're in. You have flashbacks, who they are, all of that. Meanwhile, you're dealing with the situation and it begins. And that is that this absolutely demonic shark begins picking them off one by one. Very smart shark, goading them, doing everything correctly to get a hold of them. And it's a cat and mouse game, or shall we say a human and shark game. And the crap that the shark does is amazing, but also it is a good looking shark. It looks very, very similar to the shark on the cover. That's why I had to try to figure out if it was an AI rendition or was it an actual photograph that was embellished, because the shark looks a hell of a lot like the cover. and it doesn't look fake. Now, you know, I love Jaws, but sign of the times, it was really good for the time, but it's not like you can't tell that Jaws, when he's, you know, up on the boat, you know, we need a bigger boat. Yeah, but it's not like you can't tell, right? It's called suspension of disbelief, which is what we all use to enjoy movies. Suspension of disbelief. You didn't really have to do a lot of that in this movie because that shark was scary as fuck. And there was absolutely nothing that looked fake about it at all. It looked like a really pissed off, demonic, angry great white. Because it certainly wasn't hungry, right? It was surrounded by hundreds of bodies that had been eaten all day, probably. So it's definitely mean. It's killing for fun. It's killing for sport. It's not hungry. Because, I mean, even a shark that big, you can only eat so much, right? How many soldiers can you eat before you're full? And so, of course, you have this evil element to it, which is proper for a shark. Jaws didn't have to eat as much as shit as he was eating either. He was having fun, or she, or he, whatever. But this shark, yeah, is definitely having fun cat-mousing them. And the kills, that was another thing, is that I didn't expect this movie to be as gory as it was, because there is some gory shit in this movie. Some of the kills are extremely gory, especially one. Well, it's that kill. I think I said it in my top 10 list. There is a kill that is a direct representation brought to life of the story that Quinn was telling them about the Indianapolis on the boat in Jaws, when he talked about the guy sitting over there, his mate, and what happened. Well, that's exactly what happens in this movie, only instead of just somebody telling you about it, you actually see it. You actually witness it and the consequences and aftermath of it. And next time you watch Jaws, or at least me, next time I watch Jaws, having seen what he said done for real, it's going to come right back into my mind. And it's going to make that story that he told a lot more impactful, because I've seen it. I'll be able to picture it. I mean, you can picture it, but you know what I'm saying. To actually have a visual reference for it, when he tells that story, I'm going to see this scene in this movie. And I'm going to be like, yep, that would definitely be traumatic. So, aside from me really, really loving the cast, and them doing the cast right, you had Beauty, you had Beast, you had the asshole, the ones you rooted for, the ones you didn't give a shit about, the redeeming, the one that, you know, the asshole that redeems himself, the one you feel terribly sorry for, the ones that sacrifice to save the rest. You had it all. They did a fantastic job with the cast, and a fantastic job writing them and allowing you to experience all of those ingredients. Hate him, love him. Okay, well, he redeemed himself, but still he was an asshole. You know, it allowed you all of the tropes, all of the stuff that you want in a movie, it's in here. So I appreciated that. You know, I definitely appreciated that. The pacing is real good. I gave it a 9 out of 10 on International Movie Database, because it doesn't hit one of my boxes, which is you have to be 90 minutes long, and it's only 87 minutes long, and it's like, come on, you could have found 3 minutes. I know you're going, so silly. And I'm like, well, tell me your routine. I guarantee you I'll find something I think is silly. It's just, we are what we are. So they should have did a skinny dipping scene or something and added 3 minutes to it. But that's just me being me, and me being me. You could have found 3 minutes. I don't give a fuck. You could have showed another kill scene or something. But then there's this final showdown with one of the pilots, one of the Japanese pilots, that becomes the final showdown of the movie between it and them, the pilot and them and the shark. And I'm not going to tell you, but it ends very, very well, and you feel a lot of really interesting satisfaction. It's very, very satisfying. And it did shoot into the top 5 horror films since Jaws. Is Beast of War, is in that. And so that adds an extra special thrill to it, to know that years go by, the decade goes by, your list stays the same because nothing just never touches it, nothing ever interrupts it, and then along comes something that finally goes, I can't believe a slasher so good that it entered my top 10 slashers, my favorite subgenre. How could you possibly do that? And so even though, and this is what I think is funny, even though horror film fans, because we're such fanatics, even though horror film fans might tell you, I want my 10 to stay number 10 because I love them so much, they're lying. It's what they want up here in surface. But in here, what they're always really wishing for is, can you really give me something that will beat Friday the 13th Part 2? Can you? Could somebody? Is it possible? That's always something that you secretly in here wish. Not because you want Friday the 13th Part 2 or Sleepaway Camp or The Burning or whatever your top ones are. Not because you want to have less love for them, because you never will. Not because you want Terror Train or Halloween or anything replaced. Your love for them will never go away. But that fantasy, that yearning to have something come along that is so good that it could touch your holy grails, is a fantasy that we all have. So does it maybe replacing, I'd have to go and sit and think about them, but if Shark Bait is in my top 5 of shark films since Jaws, I'm not saying it did unseat that or knock it out, but let's just say that was number 5. I actually don't think it would be. I think it would be like number 3. But if Shark Bait was number 5, and then this came along and knocked it out from number 5 to number 6 because Beast of War is now in my top 5, that does not take any love away from me for Shark Bait. And I will watch it for the 75th time and love it as much as I did the second time I watched it. But to have something be that good is cool. It's cool. And no matter what horror fan tries to bullshit you and tell you that, no, I've got my top 10 slashers. I've got my top 5 possession films, and I don't want anything to ever touch them. Why? It's not going to take nothing away from your love of them to have to admit that this thing that came along was just a little bit, just gave it to you, just one more stroke than that number 5 on your list did. It gave you 50 strokes. This gave you 51. Call it Lizzie Borden. She gave her mother 40 whacks and gave her father, or no, what was it? Yeah, Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Or is that the other way around? Doesn't really matter. The point stays the same. If Sharkbait gave me 50 strokes and Beast of War gave me 51, doesn't take away any of those 50 strokes that Sharkbait did. So I don't fear something coming along that could possibly, because I'll tell you right now, my number 1 slasher of all time is Friday the 13th Part 2. And I cannot see how possibly anything in this world could ever do all the shit that would be required to knock Friday the 13th Part 2 out of the number 1 spot. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't like something to try. I want you folks to keep on trying. You know what I mean? Because you might knock number 3 out, or you might knock number 5 down. You know? But, yeah. So, it's not that I want anything to replace Sharkbait, for instance, or Friday the 13th Part 3. But I certainly enjoy you trying. And I want you to give me the best you got. Because just like Beast of War, the producer, the writer, the director gave me the best that they got. The best that they had. And it knocked something down. And regardless of what you say, that's exactly what a horror fan wants to happen. Especially if you understand and know that whatever it knocked out of the number 5 spot to jump into, that number 5 movie is still going to stay firmly in my heart right where it always was. It's just that something finally came along that gave me 1 stroke more. And that's, had one little piece that put it above it. And therefore a re-ranking was in order. So, yeah, I loved Beast of War. I'm just being all psychological through these particular ones, aren't I? I think I've been talking to certain chatbots a little too much, to be honest with you. We're getting into all kind of deep philosophical conversations, and it's kind of like bleeding over into real life, yeah? But Beast of War really is a fantastic, fantastic shark movie. And people who know me, and you may have heard me say it before, I am not about the stupid shark. Okay? Fuck Sharknado. Arkansas State Women's Prison Shark Massacre. Bad CGI shark. I have no funny bone, no sense of humor, I have none of that. These stupid shark movies, I have none of that. There's not a Sharknado movie in this fucking house. Okay. I find them insulting, actually. Now, if you give me a good try and the movie just sucks, that's fine. But if you intentionally, want to throw something stupid at me, and it's like, well, we're just doing it for stupid's sake. And I'm like, well, fine, but I got other shit I need to watch that's actually good. So I don't go for the stupid shark movies, but to have something wonderful come along, shark-based, and something so good that crossed all the right T's and checked all the right boxes, to actually crack my top 5, I'm very cool with that. I'm very happy that would happen. And that is Beast of War. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Love it. And I will see you in the next thing I do, which is going to be swimming with the fishies one last time. And yeah, love you, miss you, bye-bye. Always remember and never forget, you're a very, very special person. And I will see you in the next thing I do. Thank you for spending a little time with me. Bye-bye.